Springtime brings so many special occasions, so why not spring into Dewey's for all your celebration needs? From custom, unique cakes to balloons and party tableware to the perfect gift, Dewey's is your one-stop shop in the Triad. Even if you don't have a big event on the horizon, it's always a great day to stop by your local Dewey's Bakery, especially on Mondays for a free Cake Square Day. No purchase necessary and available all year round at any of their Triad area locations in Winston-Salem at Thruway Shopping Center and Renolda Manor, and in Greensboro at the Friendly Shopping Center. Need to place that order now? Visit local.deweys.com, and as a listener of the Triad Podcast Network, you'll receive 25% off by using the code PODCAST. Our friends at Dewey's are always finding great ways to give back to our local community, providing millions of dollars to nonprofits. Your organization can also partner with Dewey's to raise money. Just email cake@deweys.com to learn more. Don't miss the chance to make your event even more special with an order at local.deweys.com. Use the promo code PODCAST for 25% off. Dewey's. Celebrate every day.
The upcoming podcast of Twin City Talk is produced by Tim Beeman of Such and Such Media. Start your own podcasting journey by visiting suchandsuchmedianc.com. These podcasts are produced weekly, and every episode can be found at their website, twincitytalk.com.
Welcome to Twin City Talk. Today we are talking to Cindy Loman, who is the editor of Winston-Salem magazine. Welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here.
And you're originally from Greensboro, or you just lived in Greensboro?
I'm originally from Northern Virginia, but I've lived in Greensboro since 1988.
Yeah, I love how you really immersed yourself in Winston once you took the role, though. It's been great to see.
Well, thanks. Yeah, it's been fun. It's amazing how you can live that close and still not. There's so much to do in both cities that it's easy to not venture over and realize how much more there is when you do.
So now that you've been in Winston quite a bit, what do you love about it here?
I love the diversity of the people, the opportunities, just the wide range of activities and the community spirit. There's really a sense of people pulling together and caring for each other. There's just a really positive energy. I like that a lot too.
It really is, isn't there?
Yeah,
it's strong here.
It's nice.
You can't
it feels a little like a small town in that way.
It does.
It
does. It has that big town, small town connection. I always think that's an intangible. You know, it's hard to put into words, but you do feel like there's this. It's almost like this aura of people that are coming together to have your back, and this community charm that people just seem to embrace and love about it.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah.
So what's the average day of an editor like? Is there an average day?
There's a whole lot of email, which is not that exciting. Actual editing, story pitches, posting things on Facebook and Instagram, people reaching out to me reaching out to other people. There's a whole lot of interacting with writers and photographers as they have ideas or I have ideas for them. So there's a lot of that kind of interaction.
Yeah.
In fact, Susie is one of the people who writes for the magazine, and she has great ideas.
It's fun. You're great to work for as an editor. And
It's been fun to see of these podcasts how many people we've had stories about.
Yeah.
Restaurants, actors, just different, really interesting leaders in the community who've been both in the magazine and on the podcast. So it's kind of fun
Burgess
to see.
himself is good.
Yeah.
Has podcasters been in the magazine?
I don't think so.
I don't think
we
so.
should talk to Tim. We need to
Maybe
do something on
that's
Tim.
next.
Excellent.
Shameless.
Hey, get it when you can.
That's true.
I mean, there are so many interesting people in Winston-Salem. I mean, you can't, of course, write about all of them, but everybody has a unique story. So it's fun to find those things out. And I'm a really curious and nosy person, I guess. So it opens the door to find out more about people.
So what's in store for the magazine this year that you can share about?
Oh, good question.
Maybe you want to talk about the digital content? We've been working on that for a while.
We have been working on the digital content. We changed our production schedule last year, and we do fewer print magazines, but we do way more online, both on our website and Instagram and Facebook. So we've had the opportunity. One of the things that's exciting about that is you can do things that are a little more timely, because the magazine, the deadlines are so far ahead of the actual print. Like, we've just released our March issue. So if somebody sends me, hey, here's a great thing happening in March, please get it in your calendar. They send it to me today. It's too late, but it's not too late to get it on our website. So one of the things I'm the most excited about is that our content from the magazine is not behind the paywall. We're affiliated with the Winston-Salem Journal, and most of their content is behind a paywall, but all of the magazine content is not. And I think that makes a huge difference in terms of trying to promote stories and get people connected. So that's something we're really pleased about. Then the next magazine will have our pet contest, where people enter their pet photos, and that's always fun. I'm more of a dog fan than a cat fan, but I like cat pictures fine.
Me too.
I don't want to get my house, because there's 2 dogs in my house right now. Let's see. We've got one of the things we don't do anymore, which makes planning trickier than it used to be, is that we used to have theme issues. Every month was a theme, but since we do 7 issues instead of 12, that's too limiting. So we've got interesting profiles coming up, and we've got, in our March issue, we've got 3 interesting women, profiles of women, an interesting history maker from Kate Smith, and it's like they blur together. I'm trying to remember, but we try to do a lot of things, and there's always a lot of food stories. So we looked at Susie did a story on some of the interesting restaurants that opened in 2024, and we run a column called no, I can't remember.
Oh yeah, I don't remember the name either.
Yeah, I'm blanking out. And we run a month. The Dish, that talks about restaurants that open, restaurants that close, different things that are changing in the restaurant industry.
The Step Inside column is really cool too.
Yes, that is awesome. Jay Sinclair and Coy Archer pair to visit places that have usually been remodeled, or just cool homes that you're like, wouldn't you love to know what it looks like inside there? And he'll just go to the door and say, hey, we'd like to do a story. So those are really fun to see, and the decor is always amazing, and there's a really wide range. So Jason Clare's the photographer, and Coy Archer is the writer. They've been doing that for years and years.
So what's been the most challenging part transitioning from Greensboro to, because you were at Greensboro News and Record, right? So what's been hard from transitioning from Greensboro to Winston?
We're cooler over here.
I don't think that transition was.
No.
I mean, from city to city, the difference between a newspaper and a magazine, of course, is a bigger deal. You're not doing daily stuff. You're planning out. The photography is much more important, and I do think we have great photography. Some of our photos are done by the journal photographers, but here we are on glossy. In the glossy magazine, and they look even better than when they run in newsprint. So the other thing that I love about the transition is I go anywhere and people say, oh, you're the editor of Winston-Salem magazine? And they say good things. And when I worked for a newspaper, they would be like, oh, my delivery. They would complain about bias or delivery or something, some kind of
now
mainstream media.
I want to hear all your complaints that you used to have from the newspaper, because in our last interview, we're talking about everybody's grievances. So you get Things you want to get off your chest?
No, I do not. Because again, I'm still affiliated with that company. But people, I think, and especially now, there's really this anti-media, anti-mainstream media sentiment. And so, but that doesn't, I haven't had that really with the magazine at all.
When the weather warms up, so does the real estate market. Sounds obvious, right? It's true. Spring typically means more home sales. But how will the current interest rates affect people's decisions? What about inventory? Is it high or low? And does that benefit the buyer or the seller? And how do those factors take into account a certain price point or area of the Triad? Now it's not so obvious, is it? That's why you should turn to the Ginther Group to make sense of it all. You need someone you can rely on to assess your situation, read the data and trends, and point you in the right direction. Interest rates, inventory, even new construction. There are so many factors that impact our local market. And you should get your information from the folks right here in our backyard. Contact Blake Ginther and the Ginther Group today, 336-283-8689, or visit theginthergroup.com. Buying, selling, investing, or just learning, whatever you need, start now, and like me, you can become a Ginther Group client for life. When the weather warms up, so does the real estate market. Sounds obvious, right? It's true. Spring typically means more home sales. But how will the current interest rates affect people's decisions? What about inventory? Is it high or low? And does that benefit the buyer or the seller? And how do those factors take into account a certain price point or area of the Triad? Now it's not so obvious, is it? That's why you should turn to the Ginther Group to make sense of it all. You need someone you can rely on to assess your situation, read the data and trends, and point you in the right direction. Interest rates, inventory, even new construction. There are so many factors that impact our local market. And you should get your information from the folks right here in our backyard. Contact Blake Ginther and the Ginther Group today, 336-283-8689, or visit theginthergroup.com. Buying, selling, investing, or just learning, whatever you need, start now. And like me, you can become a Ginther Group client for life.
Yeah,
So here's a question for you, having a little bit of a left. Not good or bad necessarily, just differences between Greensboro and Winston. And yeah, for somebody who's immersed maybe in both cities a bit, I'm always curious what people's takes are on that.
I think they both have so much to offer. I mean, there are distinct events in each place. Like the Folk Festival in Greensboro is amazing. The arts community in both are great. I love the Bookmarks Festival here. There's.
Would you say there's a vibe difference between the two? Are they similar, different?
I think. Wow, I feel like they're kind of similar. I don't know if that's a bad answer.
I don't know. No, I'm just curious your opinion.
I mean, I think there's a weird competition between the two, but I know a lot of people
There's no
who go
competition.
between.
We're better. But.
Yeah, I know people go. They'll come to a particular restaurant here, or go to a particular store or restaurant there.
Yeah.
But I do think there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of really cool parts of Greensboro that I enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah, and both have great parks, very family oriented, I think. Because I was involved in Leadership Winston-Salem, I know a little bit more about kind of the ins and outs of different parts of Winston-Salem than I do Greensboro, because I've never participated in that program.
Is there a program there? Is there like a...
Yeah, there is. There's a Leadership Greensboro, but I never did it. So, but Leadership Winston-Salem was the best thing I've experienced in Winston-Salem, because you get to see so many wonderful things and challenges and how they're being addressed. So, I've really loved that.
It's kind of like an extended, because I did the City of Winston-Salem University, and Leadership Winston-Salem's like an extended version of that, I think.
Yeah, they're very similar. It just kind of opens up the curtain. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's how that works.
Yeah, people love to complain, as we've been talking about, but until they see the inner workings, they don't realize how hard things are, at least on the government side.
Yeah, like we did an exercise of, okay, here's your budget, here's how much you need to cut. Where do you cut it from?
Yeah.
I don't want to be, I don't want to be in charge of budgets. I don't want to be in charge of when school is closed.
No.
Oh gosh.
Because everybody's angry, or at least half the people are angry at all
Make
times.
everybody happy at all.
You never can, right?
No.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that's definitely a thing. You got to make the best decisions you know how without concerning yourself that there are always going to be people that aren't happy with it.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite spots in Winston? Like restaurants or parks that you like to go see?
So, my favorite new restaurant, and I don't want to get the, is Ramen
Mafia?
Mafia. I keep wanting to say Ramen Ninja. So I went there pretty recently, and I really liked that. I've liked Yama's since I started working. It's very near the Journal Building. Old Salem, of course. There's just,
It's nicely covered.
there's
It's nicely covered.
so many nice, diverse places. Now, I haven't really gone to all these different cocktail places, but
There's a lot.
but there's a lot of great sounding. So I usually go home in the evening, but so a lot of the evening stuff I haven't experienced, but need to.
Yeah. Have you been to the Remedy?
I haven't.
Oh,
You need
I
to
need
get down
to.
there.
I need to. Now that I've met you, I'll be like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I know the owner.
Come see us. The Remedy would
That
love to have
doesn't get you anything. 'cause
well, is there anything else about the magazine that you think people should know?
I would say it's a celebration of our community. So if you don't get it, subscribe to it. It's $25 for a year. If you live in Forsyth County, you can go to the website for free. But it really is a look at what's good, I think, about our community. The people who are leading things, the restaurants to go to, the big events to participate in, themes and trends. We had a fun story recently about mocktails, and that's just a big trend that
is.
people don't just want to drink, soda or something. They want to drink something that feels like a cocktail without the alcohol. So that was a fun one. So I'd say, it's an extension of a celebration of the city, and it's a great city. So
Thank you.
check it out. And the website is WinstonSalemMagazine.com. And again, there's no firewall, paywall. All the stories are free.
Facebook and Instagram.
Facebook and Instagram, Winston-Salem Magazine.
And can people still buy individual copies at Bookmarks
Yeah,
and Barnes and
Bookmarks
Nobles?
and Barnes and Noble, yeah.
Just the Barnes and Nobles in Winston, I'm assuming.
Right,
Okay.
right. Just the one at
Haynes Mall.
Mall,
Bowl.
yeah.
Haynes Mall area.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
You're very welcome. This was
It
a
was great
delight.
talking to you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys.
This is Twin City Talk. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you. The views and opinions portrayed by guests on this podcast are not necessarily those of the distributors and hosting companies. And if you love this podcast, that's great, but don't think about stealing it. Reach out to us and talk about the content because it is copyrighted.